Welcome back to the podcast, Catch It, A New Perception. My name is Ketuk, and thinking about a number of different things coming into today and today's podcast, I'm asking as a question, do we have a tendency to hear someone compliment us? And then we take that compliment and we become stagnant with it. We choose to not move forward. We choose to believe that it's enough right where we are because we were paid a compliment, or maybe even more than one. We were paid compliments by people about the things that we were doing. This could go back to when we were young, adolescent. Someone paid us a compliment and told a young lady, "Oh, you have nice hair. You're pretty hair. I like that hair. I like that haircut." Everybody said, "Oh, that's so nice, elegant in some fashion," whatever terminology they were using. And then you never wanted anything except for that same haircut for the next 50 years because you got complimented on it. It made you feel good, and therefore you become stagnant with the idea that this is what will always look good. It's possible for some people, it's true. The reality is that happens to us throughout our lives. Maybe we're working at a new job and we start to learn something and we start to catch up to, or maybe even surpass, some of the people that have been there a period of time. And we begin to get good at what we do. And we get compliments on it. People point it out in different ways, how good you are. How you seem to catch on so well. How you're doing a great job. And then you believe that that is the standard that is now set. And that's all you do. You don't try to improve yourself. You figure it's enough because what you're doing now is enough and you've been complimented, so therefore you don't need to do more. Or are you of the mindset that I can do better than this? This is good, and I appreciate people validating that and seeing what I see because I believe I'm doing a good job and I can do better. Maybe you work in the guest service industry and you're working with guests and you get compliments on how well you work with the guests. Is that enough? Do you think that because of what you've done in the past is enough for you to sustain in the future? I don't. I believe that the things that I do need to continue to get better. I need to get better at the things that I do in my place of employment. I've only been employed for a little over 3 decades. The business is just 4 decades old presently, and I have been there the majority of the time. 3.5 decades almost. And so I have some experience doing what I do. Do I think I'm good at what I do? Not necessarily. That's not derogatory. I'm not looking down on myself when I say that. I think I've done a good job in many ways at my place of employment, in the things that I do, and the way that I treat people, and the approach that I take. And people still today, middle management, lower management, people try to appease me and say, "Oh, well, you're such a great example." And I think, you tell me that and you don't show me that. So I just move forward. I keep doing what I do. It's still all about the guests. no matter how these people try to appease me and say, oh, you're doing a great job, because I don't think they believe it, because their actions don't show that they believe that. Their actions show that they believe I'm an average, or maybe even becoming below average. That doesn't matter either. Maybe these are my misperceptions. Maybe they're their misperceptions. I don't know. What I do know is I can get better at what I do, no matter what they think of me. How do we make an approach to be able to do better when people tell us we're doing a great job and we've put in our best effort and we've done a good job every day? How do we continue to get better? For one, believing we can get better. I think about people in professional sports. Maybe this had just come to mind. Someone maybe playing professional football, like in the National Football League. And people will say, oh, well, you're really good at your position. You're the best there's ever been. You're the GOAT, whatever that might be, the greatest of all time. Whatever that terminology might be, people will give them praise. Now, either they rest on their laurels and believe that everything that they've done up to this point will shoot that trajectory forward and they will automatically go into the NFL Hall of Fame because of everything they've done in the past. Possible. Or do they keep believing that they can get better? Not that they can reinvent the wheel, not that they can create something that's already been created. Can they improve on it? You're not reinventing the wheel, but they're not wooden wheels anymore either. And they're not what they once were when rubber tires first came out. So they have been refined. That's what we're talking about. Can you refine your craft? Maybe refined your craft. When we refine it, are we refining it? Interesting slip of the tongue in my terminology. Because I think that as we refined ourselves, we can refine our craft. How is it that you want to do it? Maybe you don't care to improve what you're doing, and you just want to stay where you're at and do what you're doing and do the bare minimum because that's all they pay me for anyway. I don't have to go above and beyond. I don't have to go above and beyond for them. I go above and beyond for me. I need to feel good about what I do. I need to feel good about how I show up. I need to feel good about how I have a conversation with somebody. How I am able to do what I do. That's what I need to feel good about. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's just all about me. That's not the type of I statement I'm making. What I'm saying is I am responsible today for my own welfare. I am responsible today to allow myself to feel the way I feel about my place of employment and getting better at what I do. Because when I take responsibility for my own actions, my thinking will change and how I feel about it changes. Now, if I say it's on you because of the way you treat me, because of what you said, because of what you, and I start making those statements, then I can't change me. You see, when I'm the problem, when I have been the problem, I can change that. If I blame you and you're the problem, I can't make the situation any better. So the best way for me to improve at what I do is to say the problem that is here is the problem I have created, and that I can do something about. When I say that you're the problem, the rules that you have made, the way that you define this job is what the problem is, I can't get any better at what I do because I can't change you. I can change me. And when I change me, my thinking changes and how I feel changes. And that's what life is about. About me being able to change the way I feel because I've changed the way that I think through the actions that I take at my place of employment is what I'm referring to today. So when I go into where I work and I believe that today I can be a better employee than I was yesterday, with 30 plus years under my belt, 34 years under my belt, I can get better at what I do. I believe I can. I believe that I can treat you with respect when you're the one that's in front of me. So does guest service have to do with the guests that walk into my place of employment? Or does guest service have to do with the way that I treat the supervisors above me, the people in lower management above them, the people in middle management above them, or the people on the top that actually run the show? What if I can affect someone in higher management or people at the very top? What if I could affect them in the way that they think because of the approach that I make? And all of a sudden they take an entirely different approach because of something I said to them. And that trickles down into higher management, lower management, supervisors, down into frontline employees. And everything is different. Because I treated someone at the top of this business that I work for. I treated someone there the same way I would treat a guest, any of the guests that walk in. Someone I'm seeing for the first time. Someone who's a reoccurring guest. What if I can treat them in a good way, with that good heart? I show up as a good relative. When those things happen, then my life gets better. It's a byproduct of how I treat other people and how I feel. That's what it all comes down to for me today, is that when I treat someone with dignity, with respect, or with love, whatever those may mean. Compassion is a type of love. I understand that. When I treat someone with compassion, all of a sudden, I get something out of it. I don't do it for that reason. I don't treat someone with dignity so they'll respect me. That's not my thing. I treat somebody with dignity because they're a human being in front of me. And because of that, they've been gifted the breath of life today. They deserve that dignity. No matter who they are, what their background is, where they came from, anything that they believe would make them different than me, or someone else would believe something makes them different than me, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is that they are a human being that's been gifted the breath of life today, and they stand in front of me. And because of that, they deserve dignity and respect, possibly compassion and love. So the way that I treat anyone on any given day today has to do with what I can do, how I'm going to do it moving forward. I look forward to being able to see it different in the future. I look forward being able to appreciate the way I see it today. It all matters to me. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Dok Shao Ke.